Hello, welcome to the Gemini full moon reading, everyone. So I figured we would do, hold on, I figured we would do a live for this because I've been working on the 2021 readings, which have been very in-depth and very intense. So stay tuned for those. So I'm gonna wait a second for some people to jump on here. And while I'm doing that, for those of you who are watching on the replay, I will speak directly to you now. Hello, welcome. Hi guys. So we're gonna be pulling some cards for the Gemini full moon here. It's a lunar eclipse. I'm great, how are you? Epiphany, what a perfect name for this full moon. Yay, welcome to the live, Higher Holistic. Awesome. Hey guys. Okay, lots of people jumping on now. So we've got the Gemini full moon tonight. We are right smack in the middle of this energy, and it's going to be a big one. We are kicking off eclipse season leading into December. So this is going to be super fun. There's going to be a lot of changes that are coming. Eclipses and eclipse season always bring about major changes that are for our collective and individual benefit. Hello, hi guys. So we're going to pull some cards. We're going to talk about this energy. How are you guys doing? How have you been feeling for this full moon? I know leading up to it, it has been a little bit of a rough ride for some people, especially if you're sensitive to lunar energy. I am one of those people. I'm a Pisces sun, so I'm very sensitive to all energies, but especially lunar energy as it is connected to water, and so is Pisces. So I tend to, not be able to sleep all that well, not be able to eat all that well, and not be able to think all that well. It's just a lot. So yeah, it's been an intense kind of past few days leading up to this full moon, but I think we're gonna have a really good time. So as I was posting on Instagram yesterday and today, the full moon in Gemini is bringing up a lot of awareness. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of new information that we are available, that we have available to us, whether that is through our own inner world where we are gaining a lot of information, or through information that's going to be shared in the collective. I feel like there's going to be a lot of, oh, my wrist beads. Sorry, yeah. These are shungite and black tourmaline. I also have black onyx, and I can't remember what the purple one is. Maybe lepidolite, I can't remember, but these are all just crystals that I use for grounding. And for the purple one, I know the meaning of it is for emotional grounding and emotional stamina. So whenever there's kind of like an emotional time going on, I like to use these crystals amongst others. I always have my selenite with me. I always have, well, there's this new crystal that I got from a friend of mine. She's moving to Scotland, and she's selling a lot of her stuff, and she gave me this one, which is celestite, which is great for connecting with the angels, the angelic realm, and your guides. So if you are looking to connect with your guides using crystals to help you do that, you can use celestite. I use these grounding crystals because I tend to have difficulty grounding myself. I'm more in the upper chakras. That's my comfort zone. So coming down into the root, the solar plexus, and the sacral is a little bit more uncomfortable for me. It's not my territory. So I use crystals to help me do that. Also with setting my own intentions, especially around full moons, because man, are these intense. And selenite's always just good for cleansing. Yay, thank you, Jared. That's awesome. All right, so do you guys have any questions before we jump into the reading, or shall I save that until the end? Because I feel like there's a lot of questions and answers that this full moon is bringing up specifically. I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why we're doing this reading, is because there's a lot of information. And sometimes when we get big information dumps like that, we end up not really knowing what to do with it. It's kind of like, yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for prompting everyone to give a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Okay, so let's just pull some cards, and then we can answer some questions after if you guys have any. Why do they say it's the beginning of Aquarius? I thought it was 2012. That's a really good question. I'm not an astrologer by trade. I dabble in astrology because I find it interesting. So from my level of understanding, now, if there's any astrologers watching live or in the replay, don't, don't burn me out here, but I feel like it's because we've transitioned into Aquarius season, or into Aquarius, the Aquarius era now, because we are moving into, after 2012, it was kind of like the beginning of it. And then now that we're moving into the official beginning of it, with December 21st this year. So this is next month. This is what everybody's saying with the great Jupiter Saturn conjunction. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, there's a lot of planetary movements that are happening right now. And I don't 100% know why some people are saying that it was before and some people are saying that it's now. All I know is that this energy has been kicking off for a while. And I feel like it was kind of, we were in like the pre-warm-up phase, almost like when like Mercury goes retrograde. We have a pre-retrograde and then we have a post-retrograde shadow period. So it's kind of like that, but because it's such a massive age shift, it's like it's been years that we've been in the pre and then now kind of going direct, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so let's pull some cards and see what's going on for this full moon. How are you guys all feeling? I hope everybody's doing well. I know it's a lot sometimes. It's like, it's always something going on energetically. Hello. Okay. Revelation. I knew it. I knew that I feel these energies, and then the cards and the astrology just really back it up. So it's kind of like whenever I'm sensing something, I communicate that to the collective. Yeah, revelation. So this revelation is going to be something that we didn't previously understand. So it's like new levels of awareness. And I feel like this is not just individually. I feel like this is, hi Alex, welcome. I feel like this is also collectively. There's going to be some general revelations in the world at large. There's going to be a lot of people who are waking up. And I don't mean waking up in terms of like their awareness of their higher self as a spiritual being. That may come with it. That's what the age of Aquarius is all about, right? But it's information. Aquarian and Gemini are both air signs. So air signs are all to do with information, thinking, thought processes, beliefs, sharing of information, integration of information. So there's a lot of revelation energy that's coming with this. It's almost like we're going to have a collective epiphany. And this has been triggered by individuals waking up as well. So I talk about the 100th monkey effect. I talk about the collective unconscious a lot here on my channel. And if you guys aren't aware of it, it's like when a certain group of people or a certain frequency of people get to a certain awareness, it goes out into the collective unconscious and everyone can access it. So we are transmitting information just by our own experiences. Crisis makes reveal the true nature of a person. This is very true, Danielle, or Daniel, I'm not sure. So sorry, but I feel like you're very right in that. When we are put into crisis situations, that's when we really get to know not only who we are, but also other people. It's how we respond. It's how we react. It's Daniel. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. It's how we adapt. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of adaptation. Why is there a Mercury retrograde every year? Jared, there's actually multiple Mercury retrogrades every year. Usually I think it's like 3 or 4. It's just because Mercury is one of the planets that is closer to us, so it moves around faster. Some of the outer planets like Jupiter and Pluto, say for example, they're further out, and so it takes them a lot longer to rotate around. So the reason that we get so many Mercury retrogrades is just because Mercury is closer to Earth. Yeah, there's a lot of revelations that are coming up for the collective. Let's pull a moon card because it is the full moon. You're welcome. It is the full moon. So yeah, full moon rituals, guys. This is the time to do some release, to connect with your guides, okay. So yeah, there's a lot of access to information here. So the key to this, though, is being open to it. If we are not open to receiving information, we won't get it. You know, we can sit there as long as we want, asking for an answer. But if we're not receptive to that answer coming in, that becomes an issue. Great to see you too. Hi. Okay, so your hard work is paying off. Anything that you guys have been doing up until this point, this full moon, this partial lunar eclipse is bringing that to a kind of a head. So there's going to be rewards for hard work. Eclipses often bring things in rather than taking them away, and they have a wider scale of energetic impact. So we're affected by the energy of an eclipse 10 days before and 10 days after, but then the eclipse energy itself also affects the next 6 months. So we have a lot of culmination energy here, bringing our sort of due rewards. Yeah, December 21st is going to be a really powerful day. I'll probably do a reading on that as well as we get closer. How do you decipher between guidance from a higher realm and your ego? Sometimes both can be good, but what's the best way to know the difference? That's a really good question. So oftentimes you will begin to receive information from the level of ego. That's normal. So you can still receive good information from the ego, but it's only based on what the ego understands and the programming that it holds. So there's limitations there, right? Because the ego doesn't have access to all of the information, say, for example, that the higher self does, or that other fractalized versions of the self have access to. So what you want to first start out doing is essentially learning to tell the difference. Now, that's a little bit of trial and error. So your ego often will tell you things that you want to hear or that you already think already. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, because when you're deciphering information from your higher self, it can kind of overlap. There can be things that you do already know and you're getting confirmation through your higher self or through guidance that you're receiving outside of yourself, but it's always from within yourself. So, but it is a little bit of trial and error. So sometimes your guidance that will come through from the ego, especially if it's something subjective that you can kind of explore with your actions or choices. If it's coming from the ego, oftentimes the choice that you will make will end up having repercussions that are not necessarily in alignment with you or what you thought would happen. When it's from the higher self and you follow that guidance, you will end up having things kind of work out synchronistically well for you, or things will just feel very fluid and in alignment. So it is a bit of trial and error. You can also kind of tell the difference between your ego and your higher self by tuning into the way it feels and the way that voice kind of sounds. So for me, my ego sounds a little bit more forceful. My ego tends to kind of sound a lot like my speaking voice, or my like the way it's very kind of slang, and it's not very formal. My higher self speaks very formally, much more eloquently and very softly. So I have to tune into that a little bit more readily. I have to bring that to my awareness with intention, whereas my ego is kind of like always there, just kind of yelling in my ear. So the frequency, the decibel, the sound, and now that's going to be different for everybody too, because I work with my guides and my higher self very clairaudiently, as well as clairsentiently and clairvoyantly. So the clairaudience is more like hearing those actual voices and hearing, it's like an inner monologue, but like there's multiple different aspects, right? So there's, it's not gonna lie, it can be a little bit complicated when you're just starting out, but it's just trial and error, deciphering how you feel, tuning in. Does it feel expansive? Does it feel constricting? Does it feel empowering? Does it feel really kind of triggering in some way? The ego will believe things that it feels emotionally attached to, and there's triggering there sometimes. So lovely to see you too, Amanda. Welcome. So I hope that kind of answers the question there. Tuning in is going to be different for everybody. It's about how you get into flow state. So how you receive information is going to be different for who you are at soul level. So for me, my soul level gifts are communication and vision. So I'm able to speak really well through my throat chakra most of the time, and see through really well through my third eye chakra. Now, if you are more of a solar plexus type of being or a crown chakra type of being, the information you're getting is going to be different. Crown chakra primary souls would receive information more through claircognizance, where they would have just a big download of information and they just know something and they don't know how they know it. It's not like they're hearing that voice and they're interpreting it, or that feeling. So it's different for everyone, and it's quite, Yeah, I have knowings where it feels correct for me. Yes, so that's claircognizance. It's like you know something without knowing how you know it. Hi, welcome. So yes, there's lots of different ways to do it. If you guys want more information on how to uncover some of your specific gifts at soul level and how you can work with that energy, you can always come to me and we can do a one-on-one session. I do soul realignment Akashic record readings for that purpose, so you can kind of uncover and discover who you are at soul level, how you work with energy, where you come from soul wise, like planet of origin or soul group of origin, and what the karmic blocks and restrictions are that are kind of limiting your expression within your human incarnation here now. So yeah, it is a little bit of trial and error. I'm going to let you guys kind of explore that on your own. If you do have more questions about that, you can always send them to me via email, or I'm thinking of doing a Q&A soon as well, like a designated Q&A where I'm going to ask a bunch of questions on Instagram and have you guys respond, and then I'll bring them here and do either a live or thank you, or a recorded video. So if you guys are interested in that, we'll be doing that as well. So the next card we have is Nothing Will Come of This Situation, which is the Void of Course Moon. So it feels like something that was not meant to be will not come to fruition. So this may be part of that revelation as well. It's kind of like, if it wasn't meant for you, then nothing's going to come of it. And you may gain an awareness of that confirms what you were kind of feeling, like this isn't happening, it's not happening for a reason. Then you get a revelation about why that is. So let's see, let's grab one of these Wisdom of the Oracle cards and we'll see. Yes, thank you everyone for holding the light and assisting humanity at this time. It's amazing. Okay, so we have yin energy, which is the female principle. So this is the feminine polarity. This is all about receptivity. So like I was saying in the beginning, if you guys were here for that, I was talking about receiving information. So the key to receiving information and having these revelations that are available to all of us within this Gemini full moon energy, it's really about being receptive to it. It's really about being open to it. And part of that is this yin principle. So we all have feminine and masculine polarities within us. The right side of the body expresses the masculine, the left side of the body expresses the feminine, and it's crossed in the brain where the left brain is the masculine, the right brain is the feminine. So it's because it cross-decussates and each side of that brain controls the opposite side of the body. So energy is always whole in and of itself, but there are always different polarities of how that energy can be expressed or utilized. So with yin energy, with feminine energy, it's about receiving, it's about being open, it's surrendering to gain control. And that sounds paradoxical, but that's like every great truth of universal wisdom. It is counterintuitive, but it actually works. So the way to do that is to be present in the here and now. Thank you, Soothe the Glitch. Thank you so much for that super chat. 444, I love it. So we've got the angels protecting us, guiding us, grounding us, creating security and stability. I love those angel numbers. Been seeing a lot of them lately, especially when I'm present in the here and now. Now, what does that mean? It means being observant of where you are in this present moment. So a lot of the time what can happen is that we get so lost in the past, thinking about past memories or contemplating the future, what we're going to do for lunch, what we're going to do later today, what we're going to do tomorrow, that we're never in the present moment. Like I'd say on average for people, it's about maybe 20% of the time that we're actually present in the moment. And we can go our whole day, even our whole life like that, because we are so focused on what has come before and what is potentially to come after. But it's really important to be present in this now moment, because this is where everything shifts. This is that core crux where everything can transition, where we create from, where we manifest from, where we align with different timelines from. So the present moment is so vastly important that we, yes, out of the mind and into the heart. That's so right. We really have to kind of detach ourselves, not detach, you know what? I don't like that word. Observe. We just need to be aware. Awareness is the first in the equation for alignment. Like I say with all my soul realignment clients, there's the 4 pillars, 444, 4 pillars of alignment: awareness, acceptance, accountability, and new levels of action, or new levels of action from that awareness that you're gaining. So through the awareness, to gain this revelation, it's being receptive to being present in the now moment. It's being able to feel in this now moment. And that means being in your body. That means not focusing on anything outside of your body. And that's how you can gain a lot of information. So for example, when I'm working with clients with Reiki, it's very intuitive, that style of service that I offer. So I have to be so present in my body to be able to pick up on all of the subtle energies that I'm sensing from them within each chakra, to be able to welcome in through that yin energy the information through the clairvoyant connection and channel that I have. So seeing past lives. Now again, that's not being present in the present moment, but you're able to gain awareness through information from the past or future by being present in this moment. Again, it's a paradox. It's like you think it's got to be only one thing, but it's always two things. It's always more than one thing that equals that unity energy, because that's how polarity works. So being present in the here and now is going to really help us this full moon to be in our own energy and receive these revelations, so that we can understand where our hard work is best placed and where it's not really something that's going to be benefiting us long term. Use your intuition to tap into this energy. So let's grab one of these cards, the animal. Let's see what's going on here. Full moon, partial lunar eclipse in Gemini, the sign of the twins, very mercurial energy. So it's communication, it's receiving information, sharing information, disseminating, right? It's really anchoring that light, because guess what light is? Information. Love is creation energy. Light is information. So we need both of those things to create anything at all. We need both of those energies to create, period. So let's see. We have the blue heron, and that's the one that's on the back of the deck too. The blue heron. This is so beautiful. Let's see what the blue heron has to say. Make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. So this is really about standing in your authenticity, communicating your truth, speaking your truth, doing what feels right for you. So this is really important this full moon. It's always important, but it's specifically being highlighted right now because we have an opportunity to be able to tap into what is true for us and to gain new levels of awareness, revelations of what that truth might be, and how we can share that to benefit others as well. Because we're not just here for ourselves. We are here for our own personal journey and our own evolution as a soul, but we are all fractals of one another, and so we do help each other. And it's funny, I was watching Avengers last night. I love fantasy. Obviously, I'm a Pisces sun. I love fantasy movies. I love fantasy books. I love anything like comic books to like unicorns and fairies, all that good stuff. And I was watching that, and I was really getting these messages coming through from the movie about how working together as light workers, spreading information, sharing information, supporting one another, that's how we're going to get to the end goal of unity consciousness, love, and the new earth energy that we're kind of working towards, right? It's that 5D consciousness, and it starts from within. And it's kind of like a relay race where we are all powerful. We all have something to contribute to this whole. And it's like the more that we connect with one another, which is very Gemini energy, the more that we can benefit the whole, the more that we individually benefit as well. So it's like it's a win-win situation. Everybody comes out on top because we're working together. That's really important. That's the core of this message that I was receiving, working together towards a common goal. So let's see what else comes up. Yeah, sci-fi. I love Star Trek. I love Star Wars. I love Harry Potter. I love Lord of the Rings. I love all of that good stuff because they're stories. That's what Gemini is really good at too. Information that's shared in archetypal ways. through storytelling. That's what humans do. That's what we live for. We tell stories all the time, whether it's the stories that we believe in our own head about our own self and our own life, or it's the stories that we tell to the collective of myths and legends and lore. There's always a story. There's always a story. And I love that we got the Ace of Swords, because this is Gemini energy. This is that air sign, communication, information, revelations, epiphanies, insights, aha moments, where things just click. Information comes in unforeseen ways, right? Because this is a gift from the universe. It's being open to this. It's being aware of it. It's listening. Because if you aren't listening, you're not going to get that information, right? That's where the yin principle comes in. If you're not listening, you're not going to receive this spark of divine inspiration or insight. So yeah, stories, non-humans tell stories. Everybody tells stories. So we are souls that thrive on stories, because that's how we understand ourselves. That's how we learn, is through experiences, which are essentially stories. The life that you're living now is a story. You're the main character. We are all stories and storytellers. We are in the story and we are creating it at the same time. We're living it and we're making it real. So there's a lot of information here within your story. There's reading between the lines is going to help you do that, right? It's not just the words that you're seeing, it's also the meaning behind them. Read into the symbolism. That's what synchronicities are all about. That's why they teach you really great things through interpretation. So I majored in psychology in university, but I had a minor in English Lit because I love reading, I love books, I love stories, I love information, and I loved taking English and stories and the psychological aspects of the human mind and combining those. So it's how can we decipher these stories within humanity that we've been telling ourselves? That's what I feel this Gemini full moon is really bringing up to our awareness. And it's just the beginning phase of that. This is like an initiation where we are kind of passing over this threshold where a lot of stories are going to start coming into the collective conscious mind for review. It's like, does this story resonate anymore? Is this story still relevant? Is this symbolism and this archetype that we're continuing to play out within our society as a whole or within ourselves as individuals, is this still relevant? Is it serving us anymore? So there's some stories that we need to revise, we need to review, we need to find out if they are still in alignment with us, if that is our truth, because if it's not, then it's okay to change it. Another message that was coming through before I jumped on the live here was, if you guys have ever seen the movie, I can't remember what it's actually called, but it's about Stephen Hawking and when he was growing up and when he was in university and doing all of his research. And I loved how he spent all of his time obsessing over this theory and mathematical equations for black holes. Yes, the theory of everything. Thank you. I love that movie. It's fantastic. And the message that was coming into my head, because I haven't watched it in like a year or two, or since it came out, which is a while ago, and all of a sudden this message or this memory of watching that movie was coming into my head yesterday, and then again earlier today as well. And the part of the story that I was being shown was when he changes his mind about the theory that he had. It's like he proves this theory for how a black hole operates or how it functions or why it's there. And he goes around and he's talking to all of these really high up people in that realm or in that society, and they're all agreeing with him and he's influencing them and he's saying, yes, this is what it is. And then his belief shifts and he goes, wait a second, maybe that's not true. Maybe what I've just proven is not the whole story. Maybe I need to revise this and go back and completely revamp my theory. And so he kind of has to start from scratch and he has to go back on what he was saying, but he's not afraid to do that because he's not in it for what is his own truth. He's in it for what is the truth. He's not in it for what his ego holds on to about proving something for the sake of proving it to be right. He's about proving it for the sake of understanding and information. And this is what this Gemini full moon is all about. It's question everything and question your own beliefs. Be okay with shifting your own beliefs, even if that means going back on something that you've previously said, even if that means changing what you've been preaching about or been talking about. And if other people are going to judge you for that, then that just shows that they're not at that level of awareness yet, and that's okay, right? The blue heron is saying, don't fear speaking your truth for fear of being judged or criticized, or any disapproval that you might get. Because yeah, Stephen Hawking got a lot of different disapproval for people saying, you can't just prove a theory and then say that, no, it's not true anymore. I'm going to go and try and prove this other one. But yes, you can, because this is life. We learn through experience, we evolve, we grow, we expand, and our awareness shifts with that constantly. So we do have to revise what we think. We do have to revise what we are believing within our own self. And that is how we shift society. That is how humans evolve. That is how we all evolve. That is how all souls evolve, not just human souls. So we really have an opportunity here to revise some old belief systems that we've held for a really long time within ourselves and within the collective. And this might mean that things need to change, because they do. Because there's nothing that will come of the situation if they stay the same. They need to change. These old beliefs of duality, dichotomy, war, yeah, it all stems from ego. And at the level of ego, it can seem very true and very real and very present. But in the grander scheme of things, there's a higher truth, maybe another side of the story that the ego doesn't see. And we're gaining awareness of that so that we can move forward. Because the whole point of life is evolution. We're not meant to stay static. We're not meant to stay the same. That's why the main characters of stories always end up being changed at the end and throughout. You're not meant to stay the same. You're meant to change. So let's see what else is coming up for this Gemini full moon. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. So how we're changing, because 5 is all about change, how we're changing is learning to come together, to work together, to know that we're supported. This is indeed a metamorphosis, Rayoff, you're right. Life is in constant movement, Gab, you're so right. This is change, not just for the sake of change, but for the sake of evolution. And the 5 of Pentacles is an energy of feeling left out in the cold, not having enough. Oh, 555s. Yeah, that's a big sign of change, divinely guided, things being removed from your life so that new things can come in. That's what eclipses are all about, guys. It's taking something away. Thank you so much, Sharon. Oh my God, thank you. I'm going to use that towards that new dragon deck I want to get. For the channel, so I can use this for you guys. So this 5 of Pentacles energy is very, very abundant. Now, usually the 5 of Pentacles is not abundant. It's feeling left out in the cold, not having enough. This is feeling left out, rejected, ostracized from society. Thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate you. So this 5 of Pentacles is abundance. It's moving into being able to work together so that all of our needs are met. My mind is showing me the vision of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but it's like all of these people have really super long spoons and they're all trying to eat out of this one bowl, but they can't get the spoon to their mouth. So what they discover is that if they feed somebody else on the other side and somebody else does that for them, everybody gets to eat. So it's working together as a whole to create harmony, abundance, and inclusivity. So I feel like this Gemini full moon is shifting how we think about our connections to other people, not only just within our own groups, but also as a whole, within society, within humanity. Our collective consciousness of humanity is shifting from one of duality and separation to one of unity and cooperation, right? We have to cooperate. And we all have different beliefs. We all have different truths. All of them are valid. So how do we get those to jive well together? How do we get those to be able to cooperate and work towards a common goal? Well, we have to decide what we really want. What do we want? What do we want out of this life? What do we want out of our society? What do we want to create? And I think it would benefit all of us to work together so that we're around for longer, so that we can continue to evolve as a collective consciousness, as humans, right? So to do that, we need to work together to heal our planet. We need to heal our relationship with ourselves to do that first and foremost, because if we don't heal ourselves, we're not going to care about anything else outside of us. Because if we are hurting within, we're going to unconsciously hurt things around us. Hurt people hurt people. and you've got to feel it to heal it. So it's being present in the moment, being open to that yin energy of feeling those emotions. Yin is all about feeling. It's not about thinking, it's about feeling. So when we balance thought and feeling, that's when we get unity. That's when we can create from that space and make changes within the collective by making changes within ourselves. I'm hearing Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson in my head. Man in the Mirror is about, instead of going out there and trying to change the world, it's changing yourself, because when you change the man in the mirror, you change the world. You are connected to the collective unconscious. So when you shift your mentality, it's like a valve goes off and all of that information that you've now just achieved goes up into the collective unconscious, and other people can access it too for themselves. And it's working together. That's how we work together. We do it very unconsciously, not even realizing that that's what's happening, but that's what's happening. We're working together. Hurt people. Yeah. It hurt people and they don't realize it, right? It's wounding that has not been addressed or processed appropriately that gets passed on. I say this with my clients a lot. It's an epidemic right now of codependency, inner wounding, unhealthy attachment styles, really unconscious behavioral patterns that are then imprinted or modeled to children, and then the children grow up with the same pattern. So we've got an epidemic because it's generational, it's ancestral, it's within the collective mind through individuals, then passed down genealogically through DNA, through behavioral patterns, environment, and the internal state. So it's nurture and nature. So it's how we work with this energy. It's how we can create change by healing ourselves. This is my mission. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm putting myself out there with that heron energy, right? And I encourage you all to do the same, because it really does take all of us. It's not one person who's here to save everybody. It's all of us who are going to save ourselves. And we have to save ourselves first to be able to help others to do the same thing. We have to walk the walk, talk the talk, and experience what we are wanting to experience so that we can then share our experiences and our healing. Healers are not people who heal other people. Healers are people who heal themselves and then share what they've learned with other people to help catalyze that within them. So when I'm working with people doing Reiki or Akashic readings or intuitive tarot therapy or spiritual counseling, I'm not healing anyone. And I do not want anyone to think that I'm a magical healer and I possess all of these gifts and talents, because I don't. I have some things that I have access to through information, through my work that I do and the tools that I have. But I'm not healing anyone. You're healing you. I'm the catalyst for you awakening yourself. I'm mirroring back to you something that already lives within you. And you know this. And it's that awakening that allows you to gain the revelations, the awareness that you need to be able to heal yourself. So this is really the core of the message here. It's sharing our healing. The spiritual Sherpa. I don't think of myself as a guru or a Sherpa. I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything. I'm just in this learning process with you guys. And that's really what I want to share, is that we're in this together. We are one. You are me, I am you. There's no separation. And I actually had a QHHT session the other day, with a client of mine who's become a friend, and we do these trades sometimes where I do Reiki or Akashic for her and she does QHHT for me. And in these QHHT sessions, I'm never fully unconscious. I'm always present. I remember everything that happens, but there's a certain level of depth of my consciousness that shifts. And it feels like my consciousness slightly lifts up out of my body. And then I'm seeing information like I would clairvoyantly in Reiki sessions, but I'm seeing it very subjectively and a little bit more intensely. Jared, my favorite color is black, but also purple. So you asked black or purple. I'm like black, but also purple. So both. I can't choose. It's like Joey when he's asked to choose between sex and food, and he's like, sex, food, sex, food. I want girls on bread. It's like, I want purple on black. So I was seeing this information in that QHHT session where I was shown what was happening within my own consciousness at this higher level. And they showed me like the Big Bang. So it was like the fractalized consciousness exploded out from itself and created all different versions of itself, even though it's the same energy. And then what was happening in my consciousness was that I was choosing now to reintegrate. So what that meant was that I'm using my experiences to be able to create connections with other people as myself, to learn information, and then to reintegrate, understanding that I'm not separate, that those are other fractals of myself being mirrored back to me. And with that, I'm coming back into unity. So it was like there was a condensing. So it's like the Big Bang goes out and then everything crunches back down and then goes back out again in this infinite cycle that looks like an infinity sign because it's going out and then back in. So I was seeing this. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, check out the merchandise. I don't have my mugs with me. They're in the cupboard, but I chose this one because I've got, it's a full moon. I got so much moon energy going on here. I love moons. So I was seeing the reintegration of consciousness back to unity consciousness. I was seeing all things being unified again. And this isn't just for me, right? This is kind of what I've chosen to experience in my reality. This is where I'm at soul level, but I see this within the collective. I see this happening on a grand scale. I see all of us coming back together into unity consciousness, and each individual fractal will have a choice about how that looks, feels, and when you do that. So there's no pressure. It's not like there's a timeline that you have to keep to, otherwise you get left behind. That's right. That's the opposite of unity. We would never leave anybody behind, because that we would not be whole. Right? So without you, we would not be whole. And without me, the whole would not be whole, right? So we really are, we are one. We're all one. And that's what I was seeing in that quantum healing hypnosis session. And it was beautiful. And they were showing me that part of that was actually addressing loneliness, because one of my fears is being alone, abandonment. I have some abandonment wounds that I'm working on healing. And one of those things was grief at loss, grief at not being with those I love, having lost them in the past, in past lives, or being separated from them. And in this life, it was more like me abandoning myself. And so I'm reintegrating by creating unity within knowing that separation doesn't exist. So that grief is still very real and it needs to be addressed. That fear is still very real and it needs to be addressed. But underneath the surface, it really is about unity, which there is no separation. So it's kind of, how do we get there as a collective? How do we get there individually even? That's too many, so I'm gonna just pull one. So let's pull some more cards on this. Maybe there's some guidance we can get here from the Cat Tarot. We have the Seven of Wands and the King of Wands. So two Wands cards came out. And I feel like this is releasing our resistance. This is letting go of, yes, warriors of the heart. Oh, I love that. Warriors of the heart. The Wands energy is spirit. It's spirit in motion. It's the passion, the fire, the inspiration that we all have within us. It's the energy that keeps us alive, called chi, prana, reiki, vital force energy, life force energy, source energy. So many different names for the same thing. And it's the essence of who we are at soul level. It's the essence of what we use to shape our reality. So I feel like releasing any resistance to, hi, Lorna, welcome. So I'm almost like needing glasses. I'm getting old, guys. I can't see the little tiny print on your comments, but welcome, Lorna. So this is like releasing some of that resistance that we've had to try and protect. Trying to protect can be a good thing, but if we're doing it for reasons that keeps us stuck in old energies, then it's actually a form of resistance. And so, like, for example, me trying to protect my heart from abandonment meant that I was leaving situations before I could be abandoned, or I would separate myself from people and just hide away in that hermit mode, which is not unity, right? I was pushing it away because I feared what I could lose. And so what I've been learning through my own experience, through my own journey, and working with others as well, as confirmation of that, is reintegrating into that whole by not fearing those things. And I mean, you're still going to fear them, but this is like courage to be able to face face those fears and go through with whatever it is anyway. It's to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, to speak your truth, to connect with people, to let those barriers fall down. You know, it's okay to protect your energy sometimes, but if you're really setting clear boundaries for yourself energetically, mentally, emotionally, then you don't need to have barriers. You have boundaries. You have limits that you've set. And energetically, you enforce those. Other people have to they have to respect them. Otherwise, you just don't vibe. So let's see. I'm going to grab more from the Rider-Waite. See what else is coming up. And then in the last 15 minutes of the reading, I will pull some cards for you guys. We have the Eight of Wands, the Ten of Swords, and the Empress on the bottom of the deck. So the Empress is, oh, I wanted to tell you guys, the other day I woke up from a dream and I was being shown by my guides in the astral realm. Whoa, one of this card wanted to pop out really intensely. Ooh, Queen of Cups. Psychic information, dream state information, astral realm information. That's the Queen of Cups. She's the Pisces energy. That's me. So I was in dream state and I had just woken up and come out of it. And they were showing me the Empress, and they were showing me the significance of how the Empress is always shown with like a pregnant belly, how it represents fertility, abundance, being able to create and birth new life, not only literally, but also figuratively, metaphorically, energetically. And they were showing me that the number 3 is associated with the Empress, because when you see a woman from the side, she looks like a 3 with her full breasts and her large belly, and when she's pregnant. So it was, I mean, it was such a simple thing and an association, a symbolism there, but I was just like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Why did I not think of that before? And it's like, I already knew that 3 was associated with fertility. I already knew that the Empress was connected to birth, but it's like, it was like a new level of awareness that I gained on that same thing. So it was information that was being given to me to kind of put these pieces of the puzzle together in a larger way. And I feel like that's what this Gemini full moon is all about. We're gaining awareness. So be mindful of that information, whether it's something that you're thinking of randomly out of nowhere. Maybe you're remembering a scene in a movie like I was sharing earlier. Maybe you're reading a passage in a book and it strikes you in a different way than it did before. Maybe you wake up from a dream and you're being shown information. Make sure you're going back over your dreams. There's a lot of metaphor and symbolism in dreams that can help you. It's subconscious. It's you connecting with your higher self in the astral plane at the 5th dimension when you're sleeping. So tons of information there. And this information is helping to get us out of this old mindset of limitation, of feeling like we can't do it, like we don't have options, like it's just the way it is and we have to lay down and take it. That's not true. We have the power. We have the power to change ourselves, and with that power, we can change the world. I had 2 dreams back to back about my ex. First, I was telling my new girlfriend to not bother with her. Oh, I didn't get to read the whole thing because it fades for some reason when I'm doing lives like this. But dreaming about exes, yeah, like it's almost like that Mercury retrograde energy, and it's because Gemini is a mercurial sign. Mercury is the planet of Gemini, and this is a Gemini full moon, so it does kind of have a very Mercury retrograde-y kind of vibe where we may be dreaming about exes, past relationships. Those are definitely highlighted right now because your relationship with other people is a reflection of your relationship with yourself. Renee, you don't dream. Okay. I think that could be a sign of maybe some blockages there within the astral state. I see that with clients. I work with them doing Akashic readings, and I see sometimes that they have like a block at the astral 4th, 5th dimensional bridge. So essentially what that means is that you're not able to access that dream state astral because of some limitations through karmic patterns of choice or through health issues in the body. Could be just because you're so dead tired that you're not getting to that REM cycle where you're able to access your dream state in the astral realm. So if you're interested, we could look into and see what's going on there. But otherwise, I would just yeah, focus on, they were saying record your dreams if you can. Like if sometimes you do dream, but you wake up and then you start paying attention to something else so quickly that the dream is gone. It's gone from your mind and you can't recall it, even though it was just there, fresh imprint. So what I've been doing since I was a little girl, because I've always been fascinated by dreams and the symbolism in them and being able to interpret those stories that my subconscious is telling me, that I would wake up in the morning, and as soon as I wake up, the first thing I do is go back over everything I was just seeing and experiencing within the dream. And sometimes little bits and pieces come through. Sometimes I get the whole thing, like it's a movie reel. Sometimes it's a little bit more fragmented and I have to go back and kind of jog the memory. Maybe it takes me like 30 minutes. I usually lie in bed for about 30 minutes before I get up, just focusing on what I was dreaming about. Sure, Ash, if you'd like to interview me, you can reach out to me at services.2kittyandbeyond. Send me an email and we'll get that set up, okay? Do you ever feel 100% self-healed before we spread our message? No, not at all. Am I 100% healed? Heck no, guys. But is that going to stop me from sharing what I've learned thus far? Definitely not. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And that's part of this journey, is that we get to share as we go along. We get to experience and we get to learn as we go. Nobody's ever ready. There is no level of readiness. There is no perfection. We're all learning and teaching at the same time. That's why, if you've ever read the Law of One material, it's just channeled information from the Raw Collective. It's, I think, a higher dimensional, maybe 9th or 10th dimensional beings, blue avians or something like that. And they were talking about how sorry, I just lost my train of thought really randomly. Do I practice yoga or Tai Chi? No. So the thought will come back. I'm just going to give it a second. Don't force it. Or if you guys want to remind me what I was talking about, because I just completely lost it. I just blanked out entirely. Right. Okay. So learn teaching. Thank you. It just came back to me. Learn teaching in the Raw of One material. They were saying that it's the two sides of the same energy. So learn teaching, teach learning, it's two polarities of the same energetic spectrum. So you're always on one or the other, or you're doing both at the same time. So it's like meeting that in the middle where you're learning and you're teaching. So I'm not 100% fully healed, but I'm going to share with you guys what I have learned on my journey. So in hopes that you can utilize that information for your healing as well. That's really my goal here. That's what I'm doing with my work within the collective here on YouTube, as well as one-to-one with clients, which is really my passion. I love meeting you guys, working with you at a deep soul level consistently. You know, I've got a lot of regular clients who I get to know you so well, and I just love you so much. So it's great to be able to make those kind of connections and learn and heal together. It's a relay race. We are passing the baton and we're going in circles. So it's like, it's a never ending kind of story. The never ending story. So the Eight of Wands is here to help us to change that story, because we get to choose, right? We get to create that story. Oh my God, I'm going to watch the never ending story later today if I can find it and stream it. Cause I feel like there's information there. Maybe there's information and epiphanies that I'm going to get from that. I get a lot of them from movies, from shows, from books, from like entertainment, right? Because it's stories and there's information there. There's archetypes there. It's such a good movie, right? Like it came out around the time when I was a little kid and it was just perfect. So it's creating your own reality. It's creating your own story. There's so much disclosure in movies. Yes, you're so right, Amanda. Whether they're doing that consciously or unconsciously with whatever intention or motivation, it doesn't matter. There's information there and we get to choose what we do with that information. That's the thing. You can have information come through. Oh, here's another thing, guys. This was another thing that the Law of One material was talking about, where you can have like a negative sort of information come through you, but if you're a positive being, it's going to come out in a positive way because it gets amplified through your lens. You could have positive information go through a negative soul being and it would come out negative because they're putting their own filter on it. They're putting their own information on it. Do INTJs have any chance to ascend? Everybody has a chance to ascend. It's your choice, right? It's what you do. I'm an INFJ/INFP. I'm kind of like on the fence there between them. Every time I take it, I'm one or the other. So, yeah, it's like we're able to ascend through our own awareness. It's not something that happens outside of us. It's not somebody else making a choice that the world is going to ascend. It's your own experience that shifts your reality. So, you know, when you make the choice to ascend through your awareness, that's what's happening. Ascension is really just bringing all aspects of yourself to your awareness so that you can integrate all parts of them, or all parts of you. So your shadow aspect, your unhealed aspect, your wounded child, your past lives, your future selves, the integration of all of this information of who you are is ascension. So it's essentially gaining a larger awareness of yourself. You're remembering who you are. Yeah, exactly. Gobstopper, you're remembering who you are, and you are coming into a state of wholeness. That's what ascension is. It's not like humanity is just going to be leveled up because it's time. No, it's a choice. It's a choice that we all get to make. And we individually shift the collective through our own choices to make our own darkness light, to bring all aspects of ourself into wholeness. That's what brings the whole into a whole. So it's a mirror. It's a mirror. So whatever you do in this mirror is what's going to happen in that mirror. So it's not the other way around. It's not like what happens out there influences this. It's completely the opposite. So we get to choose when we ascend, how we ascend, what that looks like for us, and it's different for everyone. And some people's journey of ascension is about not ascending. That's a choice that they get to make, like negative souls that choose separation and they cut themselves off from source energy. That's a choice they get to make. And we respect them for it because that's a shadow aspect of us that is learning through that experience. And when it's ready, it will be reintegrated. It will come back into the whole. So yes, ascension is a choice. Negative souls, yeah, I mean, like if you're a positive soul, you don't have to be around negative souls, okay? I wouldn't recommend it. You know, they let them do their own thing. Certainly don't try to help them because they often they'll drag you down and it becomes an issue. But we need polarity to learn. So they need to be respected just as much as we're respected. And all we can do is shift that darkness within ourselves so that we don't spread any more of that we don't want to unconsciously. All right, so I'm starting to feel my energy start to wane here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull some cards for you guys. So I'm gonna clean these up and start posting your questions. I'll do about 10 minutes or so of questions for you guys, and then I'm gonna hop off here because I have the 2021 readings to finish up and get out by tomorrow. Okay, so questions, guys. Who has a question? Who would like a card pulled for them? I'll pull a card for you. You can even just put your name. Any advice for relationships for you? Okay, Brittany. You got the 7 of Pentacles, patience. Step back a little bit. Take a bit of a rest. Pull back. For relationships, you might be kind of like really wondering if it's going to work out or what's going to happen, or is there something coming in, or is the one I'm in right now working? Is it good? Take a step back, because obsessing over that and kind of putting all of that focus into that energy is actually like hampering the fruition of that. So it's kind of like, don't overwater your garden here. You know, don't overweed it. You're going to kill it. You got to take a step back and let it just do its thing. Trust that you've put in the work you need to put in, and everything's going to bloom and blossom when it's ready. You can't rush it. You got to just let it happen. Okay. Pulled for your job for Amanda. Where do you need to be? Amanda, where do you need to be? Page of Swords, mental realm. So you could be working in the realm of communication with others. This could be at the level of thought or mind. In the legal realm, this could be in communication where you're public speaking or you're sharing information. This could be writing as well. Whatever you're good at, communicate that or learn something new in that. This could also represent going back to school. The Page of Swords can be learning something new at the mental level. So this could be taking a new course, going to school, gaining new information. So be open and in that beginner's mindset as you go out onto this journey of new learning that you're on. Angelic Goddess 1111, am I on my proper path? You have the Strength card. Yes, you are. It's going to take some strength though, and part of that strength is giving yourself the grace to be able to see the darkness or the shadow or any of the difficulties in your life for what they really are. They're opportunities to express compassion. So be compassionate with yourself. Give yourself grace. Give yourself time. Give yourself the space to be able to find your way through. Because sometimes when we're in the thick of it, we can feel like we're off our path, but you're actually right in the middle of it and you're doing great. You have strength here supporting you, so that's fantastic. Karina, what's happening with your job? What's happening with your job? Oh, Karina, you got a couple of things here. You got that Page of Swords too. You also got the Judgment card and the Nine of Cups. So with your job, I feel like you might be making a big decision, maybe to change the way that you do things there. Maybe you're leveling up how you communicate within your job or what's going on there. Maybe you're waiting on communication to come in, information that's going to help you to make this call. The Gemini full moon is going to help you do that. So be open to information that comes in, not just from other people, but within yourself about what you can do to create this sustainable level of happiness for yourself and fulfillment. So if your job is not fulfilling you emotionally, or you don't feel that your resources are always met or that your needs are always met within that vocation, it might be time to change it up. The Judgment card can be a call to change or a rebirth. This does necessitate a death process, right? Sometimes things have to end so that beautiful new things can be brought in, which is what this eclipse is all about, right? So love guidance for Nikki. Blessings to you too, Nikki. You got the Knight of Swords. I'm going to pull another card for you, Nikki, because, oh my God, you got the Devil. Love guidance for Nikki. I would say don't rush in because you might be a little bit anxious about getting into a relationship or communicating within the relationship you're in, whatever your circumstances are. Don't rush it. Pull back, think about what you're going to say before you say it. Really contemplate these things, because there's some possible toxic kind of communication patterns, maybe not communicating, maybe miscommunicating or assuming things. This could also be like just misunderstanding your partner, or if you're looking for somebody, it's like you're attracting people who aren't communicative or who are like emotionally unavailable. So yeah, there's this Devil energy is something to free yourself from by bringing this to your awareness, so that you can sort of cut off that old pattern of allowing that in your life. Set some boundaries, going to be really important for you. Communicate clearly, but also with tact. Important. Okay, who's next? A few more. What's happening with my crown chakra? Brandy. Okay, let me tune into your crown chakra here for a second. Brandy. It feels like you're going through a crown chakra awakening, Brandy. It feels like you're clearing out some resistance and some blockages that you've had up there. And this is happening in a really emotional way for you, so it feels really uncomfortable. It can even feel a bit scary, or like your crown chakra is completely blocked. You're so welcome. So I would say this is really, drink more water first and foremost. This Knight of Cups energy, for some reason, it's just like chug a whole bunch of water, because it's going to help cleanse your system. It's going to help to reintegrate some of this light that you're bringing in. If you are not hydrated sufficiently, when all of this light energy comes in to integrate, your cells can't communicate because they use water to transmit electricity, and that's essentially what this energy from the crown is. So drink lots and lots of water. Connect to your heart chakra to help you to feel grounded and safe as this process continues. If you need any additional help with that, we can do a Reiki session for you. I look into all of your chakras really super in depth. I'm a clairvoyant Reiki master. It's a non-traditional form of holographic Reiki, so it's based on Usui, which is the traditional Japanese, but I do it completely distance, where we are on Skype or just remote recorded, and I look into all of your chakras and share the information that comes up clairvoyantly for each one. Okay, so drinking so much water and not eating, yeah, so eat something, but even if it's just liquid foods would be good. Do I do private readings? I just saw that question whiz by. Yes, I do. I offer private readings, intuitive tarot therapy, spiritual counseling, soul realignment, Akashic record readings to discover who you are at soul level and some karmic blocks that may be holding you back. I also do clairvoyant Reiki, like I was just saying. So I will leave all of the information in the description box once this video is posted. But for you guys who are wondering and you're live here now, you can email me at services.tokittyanbeyond@gmail.com, and I can send you my full services and pricing and all of that, so that you have it and that you can kind of look that over. Oh, I'm so sorry, Laura, that your dog passed on. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's heartbreaking to lose a family member like that. You know, dogs and cats are family members too. They are souls. They are part of our team. So I'm so sorry that your dog transitioned. I'm sending you lots of love, okay? I'm sending you a little bit of Reiki. I'll pull a card for you and your dog right now too. let's see. First card I saw was the 10 of Cups. So he's happy, he's okay, he's well. And he was so thankful that he got to, oh, I'm gonna cry. He's really thankful that he got to be in your family, and that you provided such a loving home for him. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna go. I love animals so much. Rainbow Bridge, yeah, the Rainbow Bridge. He's crossing the Rainbow Bridge. Thank you. No, it was beautiful. It was really like touching. I'm not super comfortable like crying on camera, and that's my own thing that I need to heal. It's my abandonment wound of fearing rejection by showing my emotions. So yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for being here, guys. I love you so much. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested in working with me one-on-one, don't forget you can email me at services.tokittyandbeyond@gmail.com. And if you're looking for a card to be pulled for you, I will be doing another live very soon, and I will keep you guys updated on when those are here on the community board, as well as over on my Instagram and my stories. Okay, guys, I love you so, so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From my heart to yours, many blessings. All right, we'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.